All right, we're going to go ahead and call the Morgan County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for September 22nd, 2025 to order. We do have a quorum this evening with all members present. At this time, we'll ask Mr. Rumbaugh to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rumbaugh. Board members, we were sent copies of the minutes from our last meeting. Were there any changes or corrections, additions, deletions to those minutes?
I found them to be appropriate and will approve as sent.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the agenda as sent and have a second from Mr. Crone. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye. Aye. The minutes are approved. We also received a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda? Nope. Barring that, open for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move that we approve the agenda as sent.
Thank you. Do I have a second to that? Mr. Crone seconds that as well. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved as well. At this time, we're going to ask the board's attorney, Mr. Peden, to swear in all those that are going to be speaking this evening.
The Indiana Supreme Court has characterized this as a quasi-judicial proceeding, which means everybody who addresses the board must be sworn in. So if you're going to talk to them, if you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. Folks, any of you ever been here before? Nope. Can you guys all hear me okay? Plenty of seats up front if you guys need to hear me. Move up front. So here's what's going to happen this evening. We're going to call up one at a time, and I'll ask that the applicant come up to the podium, speak into the microphone. If we can't hear you, we're going to stop you. Don't be offended, but we want to make sure that we're picking everything up because we do record the meetings. If you're the applicant, go into detail with us and tell us why you're requesting a variance, what it is you want to do, and why the board should approve that. We all have copies of your application, and that gives us some information, but we like to hear from the applicant on what it is what they intend to do and why we should approve this request. If you're here to speak against, in opposition to, or as an interested party, is there anyone here that's interested in speaking as an interested party or in opposition to any of these? Did you raise your hand and get sworn in, sir? I'm an interested party. I'm sorry? Yes, I did, yes. You did get sworn in? Okay. After the applicant speaks, we'll give you a chance to come up and tell the board what your concerns are. And then we'll give the applicant a chance to address possibly, if they choose to, things that you brought up. Once we're done with that, we're going to end public testimony. So at that point, the only time that we'll take any kind of statements or testimony from you is going to be from the podium at our request. All right, so any questions on that? Now's a good time to ask. All right. Our first item on the agenda this evening under new business is public hearing for development standard variance or development standard petition D-25-16. David Young is requesting a development standard variance to allow an attached garage to be constructed with a reduced front yard setback of 25 feet. The property is located at 7095 Beech Grove Road in Clay Township and is zoned for ag. And for this application this evening, I have David Young signed up to speak. I have no one signed up in opposition or as an interested party. Mr. Young, if you could start out, and folks, this goes for everybody who's going to speak. Please give us your name and your address, and then go ahead and tell us what you're looking for.
David Young, 7095 Beech Grove Road, Martinsville, 46151. Looking to add an attached garage to an existing house.
Go ahead.
Keep on going, all right. Yeah, we built the house a couple years ago, and when we had built the house, I had already planned to add the garage at a later time. And you could tell by the way the utilities are ran to save that. And I thought the variance, or I thought the code was 25 feet at the time, and then come to find out agriculture is 35 feet, so everything was planned for it and good with the 25 feet. And obviously no plumbing or septic needs with this. So just looking for the variance for the 25.
All right, anything else you'd like to tell us this evening?
No, just where the house sits, it's how it was designed. If you go any further back, it was ravines and woods. So it was positioned to where it needed to be positioned.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Shouldn't be a hindrance to anybody else.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. Young this evening? And ladies, I'm sorry.
You've got 9 acres. This is the only spot that has to be attached.
Yeah, for what, we already have an attached one, and getting out is hard for animals sometimes, the dogs, letting them in and out.
Thank you. No other questions?
Are you building this yourself, Mr. Young?
No,
You're having someone build it?
yes.
Is the addition going to match the rest of the house?
Yes, identical siding and roof and pitch, yes.
All right. Looking at the aerial view, and you're welcome to step up here for a second, take a look at this. I have a question on it. Folks, I'm on this aerial here.
Tell the truth, because I saw your wife shaking her head.
I don't know. She's always disagreeing with me.
All right, so I see the house marked back here as Young, and there's something up here marked as Jones. Is that another neighbor to you?
Yes,
Okay. And then the black shaded in area is what you're proposing to add on to?
correct.
Okay, you can step back.
Little
to the
off scale,
podium,
but yeah.
please. Thank you. All right, any other questions from the board members? All right, thank you. All right, so this is a request for a development standard. And in order for the board to grant this, we have to agree that the applicant meets, in this case, 3 findings of facts. And I'll read to you what the applicant has written to this as well. So for his description of the request, he's written, add a 24 by 40 garage in an area that was planned during construction of the home. Garage would have a setback of 25 feet. Under the findings of facts, section 2.1, the application makes a statement that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement, and to support that has written in regard to findings of facts 2.1, the request would not cause any risk to the general welfare of the community. It is a structure for residential use and would have significant setback. Under section 2.2, the application makes a statement that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant again indicates that's a true statement, and in support of that has written in regard to findings of facts 2.2, the use and value of the area adjacent would not be affected. The proposed has a significant setback. A rezone would be in compliance with more than 25 feet of setback. And lastly, under section 2.3, the application makes a statement that the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties, excuse me, in the use of the property. The applicant again indicates that's a true statement. In support of that has written in regard to finding of fact 2.3, the house was constructed in an already clear area of the property. It avoided grade issues before it approached natural ravines. The soil scientist retained during the septic process determined the best location of the septic system, and the house was built accordingly. The health department has reviewed the application and states they have no objections to the proposed development standard variance. The surveyor made no comments. Staff's report concludes by saying because the petitioner has adequately satisfied all three findings of fact, staff supports the petitioner's request to reduce the front yard setback to 25 feet. So we are open for discussion on this application. Any discussion?
There appears to be nobody that's opposed to it, so I see nothing wrong with the approval of this petition.
Any other discussion? Ms. Parker, if this were in a residential, an area zoned for residential, what would the setback requirement be on that?
If it's an R1 or an R2, it would be 25 feet.
Okay, all right, but because it's ag, it's a 35-foot setback, okay. All right, and it looks to me, looking at the aerials on this and being a little bit familiar with the area, it looks like it's a mixture, a lot of residential properties in the area. It doesn't seem like it's, while there is ag in the area, it seems like it's more residential around the neighborhood, and as such, I wouldn't be opposed to this and would support this application request. Any other discussion? No, barring none, I'll open for a motion.
I'll move that we approve petition D-25-16 with all findings of fact being found true.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second to that motion this evening? Mr. Crone seconds. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Young, it is approved. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. You're not certainly required to. You're welcome. All right, moving on, our next item on the agenda this evening is public hearing for Development Standard Petition D-25-17. Tony Hadley is requesting a development standard variance to allow a primary dwelling to be constructed across the center line of two adjoining lots. The property is located at 0 Back Street, in parentheses, Eminence, in Adams Township, and is zoned R2. And for this application this evening, I have Mr. Hadley signed up, and I have no one in opposition or no one as an interested party. Mr. Hadley.
Yes, sir. Tony Hadley, 10154 West Aubrey Road, Quincy, 47456.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
I just purchased two skinny lots right in Emnitz, right in town, I believe back in June, and found out that there was a septic on them, but it was across both property lines towards the middle and the back end of the property. So I'm just asking for a variance so I can build one house, since the septic's got to stay with the two lots anyway, across it, so I wouldn't have a little bitty skinny shotgun house, that we could build a nicer house for the neighborhood there.
Anything else you'd like to tell us?
Besides, it's been, I own a piece of property right next door, and it's been kind of an eyesore for a few years there. Didn't get mowed much or taken care of, bunch of trash put on it. So after I got it all cleaned up, and I think it'd be benefit to the neighborhood if we can put a nice dwelling on there and make it nicer for the people.
And you have a septic system there already in
There,
place?
yes, sir. It was existing, yep.
Looks like we've got a letter from the health department saying that that is adequate. Is that correct? Are you building a garage on this house?
Yes, it has a attached garage, 2-car.
Are you building it yourself?
I am. I own a construction company, yes, sir.
And then the other residence that's on the property, there is a home on there now, correct, at the front of the property? Or not?
There is no home on the property that I'm asking for the variance, no.
Okay.
There was a trailer on it several years back, but it had been removed even before I purchased it.
Questions from the board? No? No? Thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right, again, we're dealing with the request for a development standard variance. For the description of the request, the applicant writes, building a residential house across both property lines because the septic is on both lots, numbers 9 and 10, and should be kept together to build a home that will face the street, which is Back Street. Under section 2.1, the statements made in the application that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. To support that, he has written the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because we are building a 2-bedroom residential home to improve the property. This will not be commercial and will not be of danger to the community. Under section 2.2, the statements made on the application that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. In support of that, writes, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because this home will increase property values of neighboring homes. Under section 2.3, the statement on the application is the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. In support of that, has written the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because it will not be feasible to build a home on a single lot. The skinny, narrow lot makes it difficult to build on one lot. The home would not face Main Road and in parentheses, Back Street. The health department has reviewed and states they have no objection to the proposed variance. The surveyor makes no comment, and staff's recommendation conclusion is that the applicant satisfies the findings of facts and therefore supports the variance request to build a residence that crosses the center line between lots 9 and 10. So we are open for discussion from the board members on this application request.
I
Any
think,
kids going to go to the eminent schools? Excuse me? Any kids going to go to the eminent schools?
Yeah, no, not mine, sir.
Well, enrollment's declining, and we need some help.
I graduated from eminence.
No other questions?
Realize there was one there, but, oh, no, there was. Are the kids going to go to the eminent school?
Due to the server addition being plotted in 1865, I wanted to know if they had talked with anybody who was there that might object.
All right. Any legitimate discussion about this application request?
with the septic being there across that line already, I think to take something Mr. Rumbaugh likes to say, it makes common sense to go ahead and having a residence that can cross the lines too. So I'd be in favor of this one.
And this is a common issue that we get in front of the board, that an applicant wants, for whatever reason, wants to build across 2 lot lines. And I always look at it and say, well, they've bought both lots, they own both of them now. It's going to be less density impact in that area than building 2 homes there on tiny little lots, and would certainly support this if there's a motion made to approve this application.
The big problem with just one lot, they're so long and narrow that it's hard to build a house.
Yeah.
And then when you can tie up the septic tank for both lots, that'd be great for one home.
Any other discussion from the board?
I won't say a word.
Open for motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve it. If I can get my glasses to work here. Petition D-25-17. It is true that approval of the injury to health and safety morals, reason to finding facts. 2-2, true, the use of the value of the area adjacent property included into the variance with effect of substantially adverse manner because of the reason stated in the petition, finding of facts. 2-3 is true. The structure, application in terms of UDO and institution is unnecessary hardship in applying the property for which a variance is sought because the reason is stated pension, finding of facts. To use 2 lots to build 1 house.
I second the motion.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve and a second by Mr. Rumball. All in favor, please raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. It's approved. Next item on the agenda this evening is excuse me, folks, still holding the meeting here. Thank you. Is public hearing for use variance petition U-25-03. John Ratcliffe is requesting a use variance to allow an automotive repair shop to be established in an ag zone district. The property is located at 5248 East State Road 144 in Madison Township and is zoned for ag. For this application this evening, I have Mr. Ratcliffe signed up as the petitioner, and I have one person signed up as an interested party. Mr. Ratcliffe.
Yes, sir. John Ratcliffe, 5248 East State Road 144. What I want to do is build a garage. Well, I already have a garage there, and I want to change the use of it so I can work on cars in it too. And then I want to put a garage at the very back of the property. I've talked to the neighbors on both sides of me and across the street, and I think if I put the building at the very back of the property, you won't even be able to see it from 144. We've got a big privacy fence up there. You wouldn't see any of the cars. You wouldn't see anything. But we want to put a garage at the very north end of my property right there. Like I said, I don't even think you could see it from the road. So, we want to continue our family business. We've been in business 17 years.
Anything else you'd like to tell us this evening?
We will follow whatever rules are put forth on us. We know we need 2 septic systems. We've discussed that with the septic guy. We need one for the runoff of, water off the cars and stuff would be one, and then one obviously for the restrooms that are inside of it. And if we need to build a retention pond, there was talk of doing a retention pond because of the water displacement for the building. We'll do that too.
So you have a house in this property right now?
Yes, sir. Right there in the,
Right there on
right
the
off of
right-hand side
144
of the-
there, yes, sir.
Thank you.
And then there's a 2-car garage down that little driveway there, and that's gonna be our main driveway in. We're gonna double the width of that driveway in and out so you can get 2 cars safely in and out of it. Yeah, you can see the driveway there where it leads back to the back. We will, ooh, I'm not sure I'm smart enough to use it. Okay, there we go. Right there's the garage, right there. And then we want to put the garage, say, right here. And that way it's look how far it is off the road. You couldn't see it from the road. Most of the work that I do, I don't advertise. I'm just busy. We take care of our people very well. We follow all the rules. EPA has never even been out and seen us. Like I said, I've been in business 17 years, so. But that's, what we're gonna do is widen this driveway. We're gonna take one panel of the fence down and kind of turn it the other direction. That'll allow us to double wide this driveway right here. And then we'll make a driveway, starting here, we're gonna come back this way with gravel. There is a drainage right here. We're gonna put, those big tubes in there and then put gravel over top of it. The concern was, if we concrete all that, then that's just that much less water the ground can absorb. If we keep it gravel, then we don't have to worry about as much water runoff problems. So we will come up the driveway here and come up this way. We'll have some parking back here, but we can use this area right here for parking too. You can see right there is the big privacy fence we've put up, right there. Like I said, I doubt you could even see anything clear in the very back of that property driving down 144. I've talked to the guy here. I've talked to Mr. Danny Young, who's back behind over here. Talked to the guy at the end of this driveway. All of them are way okay with it. But like I said, I've taken into consideration the impact on the neighbors. A smart business guy would put his garage right here, right up on 144 where you could see it and it's out where you can, and I don't want that. I want that to be back here in the back so that, and it's gonna cost me more to do it that way, but that way it's kind of back off the road. The security for my people's cars will be better, and I think it'll work better for everybody.
Questions from the board members?
Will you be needing a sign out in front?
If we put one up, it would run the same direction as the fence. So maybe we'll put something on the fence or something like that, but we're not gonna put a big lit sign or anything out front. We'll put a sign out there probably, but I doubt that we'd put we're not gonna put like a big lit sign or anything like that out there.
Have you spoken with anyone from the state about widening that drive on 144?
I have not, but we will follow whatever directions they give us. What I was gonna do is put a culvert in, which there isn't one now, right along that road right there. There's no culvert underneath the driveway that's there. So I'm gonna put a big culvert underneath that and then widen the double width of the driveway there all the way back. That way the water will flow better through there. Right here is a drainage where it goes under 144 and comes out and goes back towards a creek this way. We always make sure I have to go clean that out about twice a year. And, but that's what we were gonna do.
I foresee that being maybe your biggest hurdle
Oh, the
with
state.
this would be with that, if they find a problem with that.
Once I get the use variance, I can use this garage for work that it basically would just double. It would give me bay space I could use, and then I wouldn't be having customers out there if I use this one, because this doesn't have a bathroom or anything in it. So if I can just use that one, and then till I get this other one built, I would be super happy with that, because our shop is small enough where we're at that we're running out of room. To do kind of the bigger work, engines and stuff, I think that would work better there. There's no drains in that building, so there's not anything to worry about draining out on the ground or anything like that. It's just a concrete slab. And that's what we're gonna do when we build the big building, is we're gonna have the drains go into its own septic drain instead of, we're gonna have two septics.
Separate. Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Have I overlooked it, or what size is the garage?
It's gonna be about 50 by 100.
50 by 100?
That way I can have a room for a waiting room, I can have an office area. We need somewhere to store all the stuff when you work out there, and then I
I
can
seen you
move.
had it marked office, too.
Yeah, we're gonna have an office in it too, so that way we got room for all of that. And
How far away would the closest occupied house be from where your proposed location is?
I don't think anybody could see it, but I think Danny Young has two houses back here. They're like barn dominiums, kinda. I don't know if you've ever seen them or not, but they're back here behind. There you go. Yeah, there's two of them, and see, I'd be here, but this fence row here is thick, thick, thick all the way through here and all the way through there. That's Danny Young's there, and that's Danny Young's. Both of those are his. He built the second one when his mom and dad were sick, and he moved them into that second one there, so. But that's really the closest one. Like I said, I've discussed it with this neighbor here. He's way okay with everything. So, but that's probably the closest house there. So it's like 200 and some feet, 253 feet. 263, yeah.
So you say you've been in business for 17 years?
I've been in the building I'm in 12 years, and then I was in another building for 5.
Where's the building you're in now?
162 Taylor Street in Mooresville.
And the fence that you were talking about, you've got a privacy fence?
Yes, sir.
That's up?
Got a
Can you show us
privacy
where
fence.
that runs again?
Yeah, from the end of the house here, I'm trying to hold it steady, it runs all the way over to the driveway right here. And we just put it up. The one that was up there was falling apart and stuff, so we took it all down and put a brand new one up. I left the last panel there because we're gonna take it down when we widen the driveway. I just didn't put a new panel there because we're gonna redo that one anyway. But everything else is all brand new through there. And I got a little dog pen over here on the side of it.
How long have you lived here?
12, 13, 15 years.
15 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what hours are you proposing to be open?
No weekends. I come in at 7 and we're closed at 6, but we don't do any work. The workers don't come in till 8 o'clock, and then they're gone at 4 or 5, just depending on the last guy leaves about 5. So the work would be 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We don't work any Saturdays, none of that.
And how many cars do you typically have sitting outside waiting to be repaired?
25, something like that.
Is there adequate room for all that?
Yes, sir, because we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna, right where the water runs through here, we're gonna tube that and put gravel over them. So I've got all this area over here to park, and I've got some out front, but then we're gonna use this area here in front of the small garage. All that right there, all this right here can be parking too.
How
On
big
there.
is your parcel there?
2.4 acres.
You mentioned using the building on the,
Yes, sir, that
on
one.
the east side of the property there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Until you can get your garage built, when would you have the new building built?
The contractor that I talked to said he thinks less than a year. We're approved for money and stuff, so money is not the issue. The thing that's gonna drive, we've got to get all the permits, we got to get all that kind of stuff lined up. I would assume once we get all the permits and get everything figured out, I would say a little more than a year.
All right. What do you work on there?
We just do mechanical. We don't do body work or anything like that. We just do, tune-ups and brake jobs and stuff like that.
Residential cars, trucks, you doing heavy
Yeah.
equipment,
No heavy-
tractors, motorcycles?
No, sir, just residential cars, people's cars. And pickup trucks. We'll do some pickup trucks, but we don't do medium-duty stuff. We don't do any of that.
And how do you, on this property, how are you gonna contain all your hazardous materials? Your oil, transmission fluids?
Right, where the
gas?
garage is, we get those totes, and I've got one on the property now, and then, you're supposed to, if you put them outside, they're supposed to be in lined pits. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna leave them inside the building, just like they are at my business there. And like I said, there's no drains there either, so it can't go anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go. It has to be on concrete, and it will be. It'll be in the building. So we're gonna put totes up to put all the old oil and antifreeze and all that stuff. I've been recycling all that stuff for 17 years. We even recycle the oil filters, and we're not required to do that, but we do just because it's sloppy,
So does somebody come in and haul that off that you
Crystal Clean.
contract with?
Yes, sir. Crystal Clean comes and gets it now. We used to use B Enviro, and then I think they went out of business, so now we use Crystal Clean. They get rid of all that stuff for us.
Any other questions from the board members?
Inside your garage, about how many bays do you have to work on?
I have 5 now. At the 50 by 100, I can have 10. So I'll double the working size and be able to have a waiting room where I'm at. I've been there 12 years. I don't have anywhere for anybody to wait. They have to drop it off. Insurance won't let them stay, so.
Well, I know a lot of times you gotta tear them down and get the parts ordered, and then,
Yep.
well, you can get another one in and work on, it, okay.
Yeah, it just makes it makes
That
the
was my
flow
question.
better and, yeah, it'll make it nicer for my guys too. We won't do as much stuff outside. We don't have to go outside and do stuff, laying on the ground and stuff, so. Make it nice for them too.
In town, it might be like, is it like in a strip mall? Your current-
No, it's, we're Joe Rhodes, meat packing plant, I'm right on the railroad tracks in town. 162 Taylor. Yeah, Taylor Street, yes, ma'am. It's only 2 blocks long. Most people don't know where it is. There it is. There it is. No, it's that one right there where yeah, right there. That's the building, and then that's the big lot it's got with it.
Oh, that's Joe Rhodes Meat Packing Plant?
No, right there. That's Joe Rhodes Meat. It's called Mooresville Meats, but I think he owns it. What's that?
That's a different meat packing plant than Joe's.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Joe's over every day. Right
Unless he
there.
bought it just recently.
Yeah, could be.
He's got one on Bolton Avenue in Mooresville.
So of all those vehicles sitting out there in the lot, looks like you got some cars, some trucks, a boat.
A boat. We don't work on boats. Over here? I'm not over here, I'm over here.
No,
You're above that.
If there's a boat, it's my boat.
I'm not right here.
Yeah, that's my boat. That's my old boat. I got a new boat, so.
how long has the longest car in that picture been sitting there?
Less than a year. I don't let them sit a year. They gotta go after a year. I just get rid of them. Because we get a lot of them dropped on us. People will call us and you go, hey, it's gonna need an engine, it's gonna be $9,000. They won't call you back, they won't come, because then usually they owe money on them and it's safe sitting there. So I end up having to, I got a lady I call that gets me the titles to them. That takes 30 days, sometimes 60. Once you get a title to it, then you can sell it back to them. And I usually lose about $50 every time I do one of them. Because the paperwork to get rid of the car is about $250, $300, and they usually give me about $200 for the scrap car, so. But I usually leave them, I don't let them sit there a year.
Okay. Any other questions from the board members? No? No? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I have an interested person in this that signed up. Clay, is it Kowalski?
Get it right.
Did I get that right?
Kowalski.
Oh, I thought I was going to ask somebody to write that down. First time I ever got one right.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Okay.
Stella. Stanley Kowalski.
All right, if you could give us your name and address and tell us what your interest is in this petition or any concerns you might have.
Sure. Kowalski, 5168 East State Road 144. I'm not a direct, if you could back that picture out just a little bit and go towards the west. Let's see. Ooh, zoom back in. No. Yeah, zoom back in where, right next to his property. Sorry. Okay, so my property is right there. So I'm never gonna be in a position where I wanna tell somebody what they can do with their own property, because I don't want somebody telling me what I can do with mine. I want to approach the.
Can you raise the mic up?
Yeah. I want to approach this from the standpoint of impact. And I'm currently being impacted by some neighbors' decisions that they wanted to do with their property. So if you'll indulge me here, the property next to me, which is right here. And I'm not saying Mr. Ratcliffe is going to do this. I just want to let everybody know what can happen and what has happened to me. So that property that's right next to me is called Angels Acres. It's evidently a 501c3, and they rescue animals. And so currently that picture doesn't really encapsulate everything they've done with the property. And I'll explain. So what they've done 3 years ago was they decided to rescue some animals, and it turned into that's much better now. It's turned into something much bigger than that. They currently house a bunch of different animals, and it's agriculture, so they can do that. But what it's turned into, it's the classic ask for an inch, take a mile thing, and I'm as guilty as anybody. I've asked for inches before, and I've taken miles myself. But what this has turned into, down here on this side here, as you come into their property, they've dumped thousands of tons of gravel, created large parking lots for the purpose of multiple times a year having festivals. And thousands of people come. Two weekends ago, I believe, there was hundreds and hundreds of cars parked within inches of my property line to this property all along, let's see, right here, this row here. It's all gravel right now, so they come in, you come in here, a big gravel driveway and a big gravel parking lot area, and they have festivals, and they have vendors come and they sell things, and the public comes and kids get to see little potbelly pigs and all that kind of stuff. The impact is to our family and our property is, we homeschool our 5 kids, and we have a little, 5 acres in freedom. We've got some chickens and dogs and turkeys, and we just try to live our life there. The impact that's been the greatest to us with these festivals, having thousands of people come, is when we're taxed for this property, and we all know our property taxes have gone up, and I'm being taxed on the property based on my building, the sizes of different things and all that. The one thing the taxes don't consider and I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be corrected, but what they don't consider is the impact from neighboring properties. This neighboring property, let's pretend my property was worth $100,000 on the tax sheet. If somebody wants to come and buy my property, what are they gonna do? They're gonna look around at the community. And when there's a festival going on and there's 1,000 people that come to that, my $100,000 property is never gonna be sold for $100,000. It's gonna be sold for much less than that. So I'm not saying Mr. Ratliff is gonna do this, but I've seen firsthand the depreciation in my property, not in the value that the county says it's worth, but in what my realized potential is with that property if I were to sell it. It's no longer the same value because there's I want to be very gentle here. It's a mess over there. It's an absolute mess. And what they did 2 weeks ago is that property line, all the trees that we had there that was kind of a little bit shading what we could see, they went through and they cut it all down. So now I see multiple buildings with multiple different colors because the goats climb on multiple colored things. And I see hundreds of cars parked within 6 inches of my property fence. And I'm a fishbowl to thousands of people a year that come and see this. And it started off with we wanted to save one potbelly pig. And I've never been asked one time to come to a meeting like this to say, hey, can we expand this into a festival where people are gonna come and sell their goods and wares, and we're gonna have thousands of people come pet our animals. And again, I'm not saying he's gonna do that. I've actually only met you one time, and it was a pleasant meeting. His dogs came down to play with my kids one day, and he came down to collect them. But when somebody tells me they're gonna put 10 bays in, I feel like this is hey, I'm gonna take an inch, and it potentially could turn into a mile. And I feel like my property value is already diminished because of what I'm experiencing to the west of me currently. Is that fair?
Well, I think we all understand what you're saying
Okay.
on this. And for clarification, Ms. Parker, this would have been in Mooresville's buffer zone until, what, 2 years ago?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I have already reached out to them some time ago, actually, to ask if they gave a variance for it. And all I was told was that it was grandfathered in.
I'm sorry?
They said it was grandfathered.
Oh, it was grandfathered in.
And so when they allowed the use to exist, when the buffer zones went away, we had to accept whatever uses were occurring in those buffer zones at that time.
Okay.
So we don't really have the ability to take that away, but I will explore the ability to regulate the festivals that you're referring to. Because those are not permanent activities, those are rural events. So we'll look into that.
I'm just trying to explain what could happen, but.
Excuse me. You say you have a festival there, and how long is the festival?
It was a week ago. I think they have 3 or 4 a year. The last one was a week ago. And it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's the other thing. It goes from 7 in the morning till 7, 8 at night on Saturday night and Sunday night. And I've literally got cars all during the day and all in the night, literally pulling up to the fence, and they can see my house and everything that I have going on, you know.
So it could be 3 or 4 a year, and it'll last for 3.5 days, basically.
Yeah, and it's not just the festivals. They have multiple people that work for them, and the cars going in and out of the driveway, not the original driveway, the one that they brought along the front side of the road and then down my side of the property. I mean, there's 50 cars a day going in and out of there, taking care of animals. It's agriculture, I get it, there's animals, but it's more of a business of animals than it is a farm. The other thing with the road, if I can interject on this part too, the gravel that they put in has impeded my flow of water. My property's over 700 feet, has 3 feet of fall. It's very flat. And when they put that driveway in, they actually blocked the flow of the water. And then I had complained to him one time, and he put a culvert in there, but it was never sized. It wasn't appropriately done. And so it was just
Excuse me, just a sec. I'm gonna cut you off here. I'm not trying to be rude, but we're talking about Mr. Ratcliffe's application. I think we kind of
Absolutely.
strayed off. I understand your comparison of what you've got going on to the west of you. And as I understand it, you certainly don't want to replicate that or add to it
Yeah.
to the east.
In my conversations with Daniel Young, he's not excited about it. I'll say that. I know Mr. Ratliff said that he's talked to him and said everything was fine, but my conversation was that he wasn't super excited about it. So,
All right. Anything else, folks, for Clay? No? Thank you.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Ratcliffe, we always give the applicant a chance to come back up, maybe address things that he's heard. If you choose to, fine. If not, you're fine not to.
I'll address it. We have committed to the neighbor to the east. I'm going to put up a privacy fence along his fence row there.
Can you kind of lean into the mic?
Oh, sorry.
here? There
Sorry.
we go.
There you go.
Thank you.
I've committed to my neighbor to the east of putting a privacy fence along that too. Now, it's going to be harder to do, but I've committed to him that I'm going to do that. All of my business will be inside a privacy fence. If for some reason that we cut trees down along the fence row, I'll put a privacy fence up there too, so nobody has to look at it. I do that because I wouldn't want to look at it. And if I commit to you, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Does that make sense? I'm not a guy up here just going to tell you something and then get what I want. I'm not that guy. We're going to put a privacy fence up along this driveway right here, all the way to the back, all the way to here. There is a privacy fence from here back, but there isn't one from here forward. It stops right about here, and I'm going to put one all the way up there. I've committed that to him. So we're gonna keep everything that we do inside of this area right here. We're not gonna do anything out front. We're not putting anything out front here. All we're gonna do is we're gonna build a building back here and give my customers someplace to come and get their cars fixed. That's all I'm looking to do. I'm not trying to trash the place up. I'm not gonna leave a bunch of junk cars laying around. I'm not a junkyard. I don't take parts off old cars and put them on other cars. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. We buy parts from Napa and CarQuest and places like that. So this isn't gonna be a junkyard with just junk laying around everywhere. I want my neighborhood to look good too, and I want my neighbors to be able to sell their house. I in no way intend to hurt that. Once I finally retire, that's gonna be my toy garage, and I'll put all my old cars and stuff in there, and that's what I'm gonna use that for, so. But that's what I commit to. I'm not gonna do any work outside of that fence, outside of that outside of the fence that's up there. We will do no work. There will be nothing out here at all. Right out here. Anything from there out to the road, there will be nothing. So, I don't see where you can even, like I said, driving up 144, I don't think you can see it up here. So, see it from the road. So we're doing everything we can to try to make the neighbors happy, try to keep everybody on board with it, so.
A question for you. To the north and to the west, would you be willing to put up a fence that keeps people from viewing the vehicles you've got parked there?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think we need one out, well, we may need one out front, but I don't think we need one down the sides. You can't see, that's really heavily wooded. And if we see it in the wintertime, I'll put one up, absolutely. We'll put a fence all the way around that if we need to.
Those trees are in your neighbor's property, and he could very possibly
It's
cut
on the
them down.
line. That's my line right there. Right here and all the way around, that's the property line right there.
On the north side of that line?
What's that?
Are the trees on the north and west of that line?
Yes, sir. Right here, you can see them there, right there and right there. This picture must have been took in the winter. But yeah, there's trees all along all that.
You really have no control over those trees then?
Right, if they come down, if
My other
that's what
question
it
would be,
takes,
would you
I'll
be
put
willing to
a fence up.
That was all I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I'll put a fence up. I don't have a problem with that at all. I want my neighbors happy with what's going on there.
Any other questions for the applicant? No? Thank you. All right, this application is a request for a use variance. And under the applicant's description of the request, he has written, an auto repair shop hours are 8 to 6, entrance is on the driveway east of the residence. The plan is to build a building with 6 bays. And an office on the north end of the property, and we have 4 employees. Under 2.1 for the findings of facts, it makes a statement that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. And to support that, writes, with the location of the building being farthest from the road, this should minimize any noise problems that should arise. We have already built a privacy fence running west to east. We are willing to build any other privacy fence necessary. We're also willing to plant trees or bushes to beautify the area. Under 2.2, the statement in the application is that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant responds to that by writing, everything we are doing is with our neighbors in mind. With the privacy fence, the neighboring properties will remain unaffected. Under section 2.3, the statement is the need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. The applicant answered and states that this is a family business that would be located across the road from a factory and an office building. We are merely trying to continue serving our community with great auto repair service. Under section 2.4, the statement is a strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which a variance is sought. The applicant answers this by stating, we need this variance to be able to carry on our family business. Including myself, this will affect the livelihood of 5 families. It will also allow us to continue to provide our community with great auto repair service. And lastly, under section 2.5, the statement is that the approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan. And the applicant answers that by stating, there are already several businesses in our area along State Road 144. We would be adding our services to all of theirs. The health department notes that if there's plumbing in the new building, the Indiana Department of Health Commercial Division will need to be contacted for septic requirements. The surveyor makes no comments. The county engineer states that access is from State Road 144 and not a county road. Staff's recommendation on this is that they feel the applicant meets the findings of facts, and they would support the applicant's approval of this variance request. So we are open for discussion on this application, folks.
I know not too long ago, right up there at the roundabout, we did a auto repair or auto sales location. We have a butcher shop we've approved in there. I know that the largest non-commercial use of it, I would call, is the Rhodes Family Farm right in there. But I'd hate to guess how many businesses we've approved in that area right there, up and down that road. And I don't see any reason why we can't approve this.
Thank you, Mr. Rumbaugh. Other discussion on this application?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Bill, looking at what I've been looking at probably the most was this non-residential uses, and there's 3 dots just across on the other side of 144, diagonal there. So I don't think what he's planning on doing is going to be be an eyesore or anything. It's going to be pretty well hidden. I don't think it's not a use that would be really weird for that area.
Other discussion? Ms. Parker, State Road 144, correct me if I'm wrong on this, has been designated by the county as a, trying to think of the right verbiage for this, but an
Primary
area for
RG.
development of commercial development, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I think that was designated several years ago. I know I was on a committee, 8-10 years ago, where we discussed that.
Yeah, and I think that was looking at putting an overlay in place. Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah, which never actually got put in place, but nevertheless, there still were discussions about that corridor and its eventual evolution to commercial.
Okay, all right. And I know there's a tax accountant right across the road from this. There's a conveyor business across the road from this. Okay. I'm not asking you not to speak until you get up to the podium, and I don't mean to be rude, but otherwise we get confused later when we type. And when I smack the microphone, it doesn't help either. And I am going to ask you to come back up here in just a second. Just a second, Mr. Ratcliffe. Give me a minute here. Mr. Rumbaugh mentioned we approved a butcher shop and a car lot. There's a convenience store there. Folks, I live half a mile as a crow flies probably from this myself. And I drive by Marino's Automotive every day on Kitchen Road. And I couldn't tell you of a cleaner, neater commercial organization, much less a car repair business than what John Marino runs down at his place. And so one of the things I did and before the meeting is I went online. I was looking up online to see what kind of reviews your business got. Because to me, that kind of speaks volumes about how you're going to run the place, that kind of thing. And they were overwhelmingly extremely positive on it. So I was encouraged by seeing that. That being said, I do have some concerns. I would ask, if someone makes a motion to this, I would like to see that we include operating hours of 8 to, he said 8 to 5, but he also wrote 8 to 6 in his application. I'd like to get clarity around that, but I'd like to see operating hours established. And so we have a limit on that, because it is still an area of ag and residential in that area, and it's not zoned for this. We're going to either approve or deny a variance request for that. If we approve it, I think it's appropriate to add some conditions to that, because it's not zoned for that. And also that the operating hours would include Monday through Friday only, no Saturday, no Sunday operations, which Mr. Ratcliffe has stated that his business is closed on both those days. So I can't imagine that being a concern on the applicant's behalf. You know, again, I've looked at it, I drive by it every day. There are trees that screen that right now, but to Mr. Rumball's point, they're not on his property entirely. They're on, some on his, some on the neighbor. And I think that as much as I hate to get into a fence, that putting a privacy fence up on the north and the west side to screen that would be appropriate, and a reasonable timeline of that, and leaving it very simply a 6-foot privacy fence, and not splitting hairs on what it's to be constructed out of or anything like that, but certainly give him a reasonable timeline to have something like that installed, if it's approved. And I'm not trying to jump ahead on that. Mr. Ratcliffe, can you come back up to the podium, please?
Yes, sir.
So you heard me mention operating hours Monday through Friday, 8 to when?
So I'm in at 7, but I'm only there for customer drop-off, so there would be no working at 7. The working starts at 8 and it's over by 5.
Okay, so 8 to 5?
8 to 5 would be, we're open an hour after so people can pick their cars up.
Okay,
So
but
that's,
you're not doing work. We don't have air wrenches and things like that the noise would carry. Okay, 8 to 5.
Yes, sir.
And any issues with putting up a privacy fence down the north and west side?
No, sir.
6-foot wooden privacy fence?
Yes, sir.
And what would be a reasonable time frame on that?
We're coming up on winter. That's,
Within 1 year?
yeah, absolutely, in a year. Absolutely. I just didn't know if I could get it done for winter. It's a lot of holes to dig and a lot of roots.
Okay. All right. Now, we're all about being good neighbors. And
Yes, sir.
I would hope that now that you've seen Mr. Kowalski. There you go, that's good enough. All right. That maybe you spend a little time getting together with him and open up some clear communication, so if there is an issue, he can address it to you and get it resolved instead of coming back here.
My door's always open, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Ratcliffe's off, any other questions from board members? No, thank you, Mr. Ratcliffe.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from the board members?
I don't have any.
No? Open for a motion?
You've written everything down there, John. But you had suggested, I would move we approve, based on the finding of facts, U-25-03 with the following conditions: that they have operating hours 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. They provide a privacy fence at 6 feet high and appropriately on the north side and down the west side as needed. I won't put footage in there. And they have this done within a year.
Thank you, Mr. Rumball. Do I have a second to that motion?
I second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor to approve this with conditions, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. It is approved and it's unanimous. Thank you very much, folks. All right. Next item on the agenda this evening is staff reports. Mr. Peden, do we have a BZA attorney's report this evening? Nope. Thank you. Ms. Parker, do we have a plan director report this evening? We will have a meeting in October. Thank you. And great job on the, as always, on the staff reports on that. It really helps a lot looking at these and getting the background on those, so really appreciate that. All right, any other business to be conducted this evening? If not, I'll open for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you. That. Thank you, Mr. Crone. All in favor of adjourning, please raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. Aye, thank you, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.